So the information I'm going to be sharing with you on this video is going to be huge, not just right now, but into the foreseeable future, because we are talking about the attempted suppression of free speech, a ton of manipulation, and also an attempt at taking down X. Media Matters, a far-left organization, has sent out images to multiple advertisers on X, showing them that their advertisements are being placed next to offensive material. This is an example of what Media Matters is sending out to these advertisers. This one they sent out to Apple, who has an advertisement right here, and it's being placed right next to this offensive material with Adolf Hitler and Nazis right next to it. This is another example. Media Matters sent this out to Oracle. You can see their advertisement placed right next to this quote by Adolf Hitler. So because of this, there's a growing list of companies that have removed their advertising from X. You can see Apple, Comcast, Disney, European Commission, IBM, Lionsgate, Paramount, Warner Brothers, and NBC Universal. Now, once this information got out to Elon Musk and X, in Elon Musk's own words, they went thermonuclear. On Monday, as early as they possibly can, they are going to be suing the living daylights out of Media Matters because Elon Musk and X are claiming that Media Matters manipulated this entire situation. I am going to show you what the CEO of Media Matters is going to say about the statements that Elon Musk made, and it's unbelievably telling. You have to see this. But before I show you that interview, let me show you what Elon Musk said about this situation. I'm not going to read this whole thing. If you want to read it, I will leave a link in the description below. You can pull it up later and take a look at the whole thing. But I want to go down to the part that says, here are the facts. Here he's saying Media Matters created an alternative account and curated the posts and advertising to appear on the account's timeline to misinform advertisers about the placement of their posts. They contrived the experiences so that they would be applied in this platform, but it's something that you can do with any platform. Once Media Matters curated the feed, they repeatedly refreshed their timelines to find a rare instance of ads serving next to the content that Media Matters chose to follow. So Media Matters decided to follow the most offensive material it possibly can and then refresh this an unbelievable amount of times, trying to manipulate the algorithm in their favor, obviously, to create a situation like this. X's logs indicate that Media Matters forced a scenario resulting in 13 times the number of ads served compared to the median ads served to an X user. Of the 5.5 billion impressions on X that day, less than 50 total ad impressions were served against all of the organic content featured on the Media Matters article. So Musk is claiming that even though Media Matters manipulated and fabricated this entire situation to try to produce the most offensive thing they possibly can, they weren't even able to do it that many times, which means that X's platform was actually working the way it was supposed to. Because Musk continues with this. In the article, one of its ads ran adjacent to a post 2 times, and that ad was seen in the setting by only 2 users, one of which was the author of Media Matters article. For another author, the brand showcased in the article, 2 of its ads served adjacent to 2 posts 3 times, and that ad was only seen in the setting by 1 user, the author of Media Matters article. So the CEO of Media Matters decided to do an interview on MSNBC, of course, and his response to this is so interesting. You have to see what he's going to say about this, because I think that this is going to tell you everything you need to know.
Media Matters President and CEO Angelo Carusone joins me tonight. Angelo, this is your first interview since Musk threatened to take legal action against you. I must say, against your company. Thank God. What's your response to this?
I mean, I think that the thing to keep in mind is that it's not really clear what his cause of action is. And I think the most important thing is that in his response, in that legal threat, he actually confirmed that our reporting was accurate. I mean, he said that everything in our report, actually, as we said it existed, did actually exist on the platform. And that's basically our core argument, is that the platform is so saturated with extremism, with white genocide, with anti-Semitism, with racism, with conspiracy theories, things that otherwise should be managed in some way, that they can't actually protect the few brands that are still willing to remain on the platform. And this has actually been an ongoing thing for the last few months. This is just the latest in actually a string of these instances. So I think the most important thing, though, is that he confirmed that we were right.
Wow. So notice what he didn't say. He didn't deny any of it. None of the claims that Elon Musk made on that forum. It's not like he came out to this so-called reporter and said, hey, everything he's saying is false. We didn't manipulate the situation like that at all. We just found this in an organic way. No, he knows everything they are saying is correct. But his claim here is well, at least what he's saying is correct. And we did, in fact, actually find this. But he follows up by saying that X can't control the situation, but clearly X was able to control the situation because almost nobody actually saw any of the things that Media Matters was able to come up with. The platform completely protected people from seeing those sorts of advertisements placed against that offensive material. Now, if this MSNBC reporter is worth her weight as a reporter, her follow-up question should immediately be, wait a second, Mr. CEO, you didn't deny anything that Musk said. So is the things that he said on that piece of paper, the fact that you manipulated and fabricated this scenario with an alternative account, following offensive materials, refreshing, trying to create these impressions, is all of that in fact correct? This should be the exact next question to this guy. Do you think it's going to be her next question? Do you think the reporters on MSNBC are worth anything? Well, let's see.
Were you surprised at all to see the reaction from some of these companies, right? Were you expecting all of these pretty big advertising companies to sort of follow through on what you said?
So I think the thing that was significant is that it was his own conduct, because that gave a lens for the advertiser.
Okay, I'm not going to bore you with this. Of course not. Were you surprised that the advertisers actually, who cares? Who really cares? That's why people don't watch you, MSNBC. That's why people watch Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan listens to what somebody says. Then he asks them a follow-up question that presses them about the thing that they just said. This individual just tosses some little softball, and then look at this guy's response. Well, I don't know if I was that surprised. You know, they looked and they analyzed the information that we sent them. Did they really analyze the situation? So on Monday, Elon Musk and X are going to be suing the living daylights out of Media Matters and any other group that colluded in this situation. And I hope that this gets to a fair court, because any judge and any court that is fair-minded and they have their eyes and their ears open will look at this and they will realize that Media Matters contrived this entire situation and that Twitter's platform was actually able to prevent nearly every single user on X that day from seeing any of the advertisements placed to the offensive material that they were able to be shown, which shows you that the platform does work. Because if this doesn't happen and they side with Media Matters in this case, what that's going to end up meaning is less free speech for the average individual, because the real reason they're doing this is because they want to manipulate the information that gets to you. And in the previous election cycle, Twitter, not being owned by Elon Musk, was able to push forward liberal agendas and shut down any sort of conservative thinking. And this time they can't do it. So they're trying to shut down Twitter as best as they can to manipulate the results on the upcoming election. This cannot be allowed. It is true, when you have freedom of speech, that there is possibilities that more offensive speech can get out. But I will tell you this, that is the lesser of the two evils. If the evil is that if you give free speech, that some people can say really offensive things that people won't like, or the other alternative is that you have a corporation, a company, or a government as the overlord and overseer of that information and shutting down what they deem is inappropriate, you definitely go with option number one. We saw a situation where there was some offensive material that was placed near an advertisement only through a contrived, manipulated, fabricated situation that almost no other X user was able to see on that day. And so the platform worked. They sent these images off to these companies, trying to present it as something that it really wasn't. And now they're pulling their advertisements off. Shame on them. Continue to support this platform. It's one of the only areas where freedom of speech is actually available to the masses. What do you think about it? Leave your comment below. I'll catch you on the next one.